My daughter was crying for help. I had no clue how to help her. Christine was the most perfect daughter a father could have.
She had the most magnetic personality of anyone I've ever met.
But I didn't realize we were dealing with a monster. Would never have known this would be her journey.
Mike Ortoll is a dad whose daughter Christine battled addiction for over 10 years. And due to the incredible pain and loss his family has endured, he made a documentary sharing their story.
Everyone knows a loved one or has a friend who's afflicted by this disease. This disease of addiction in the last 20 years has killed more Americans than the Vietnam War, than the Korean War, than World War II and World War I.
When Christine was young, her parents got divorced, and over the years, her mental well-being began to struggle, starting in middle school.
So she's on, what, antidepressants?
Antidepressants, anti-anxiety at first, antidepressants, and into high school, it escalated into drug use.
And that's when his family's nightmare began.
She told her boyfriend she was going to OD on my Xanax. So I rushed here from work and got here too late. They Baker acted her.
Once Christine graduated high school, Mike says she was so addicted she'd do anything to get drugs.
She went to jail one time for theft to pay for drugs, and then another one where she assaulted her boyfriend and he called the police. So I knew then that it was serious. So I started sending her to really good treatment centers throughout the country.
But despite going through over 20 rehab centers, Christine kept relapsing.
But what I didn't know is that she didn't deal with the trauma and the monster of that trauma. The monster of the mental health and trauma side of her disease, not the addiction side, but what caused it. I just had no idea.
Christine finally got sober and stayed clean for 3 years. During that time, Mike remarried, and at his wedding, they danced together.
So was this your wedding?
That's the moment.
Was that your wedding?
That's the moment. That's my daughter and me dancing the father-daughter dance. That was the happiest moment of my life.
Wow.
She was, look, we're crying. The whole time we cried.
Mike still holds on to that precious memory because not long after that, Christine relapsed again. But this time, her addiction took her down the darkest path she'd ever been.
She went from pot to Xanax to heroin to meth and coke. And then the most horrible one was fentanyl.
And now they got this fentanyl out here. You don't even know you're doing it until it's too late.
It should be a national emergency.
We were all living 1 second at a time with her. But that's the insanity of this disease.
And despite all Mike did to try and save his little girl, nothing prepared him for this.
And I called him and he goes, Dad, Christine passed. Christine overdosed on fentanyl.
Mike never really understood Christine's suffering until he read her journals after she passed away in 2020. Mike is now carrying on her legacy by creating this documentary and sharing her story, as this is what Christine wanted.
She wanted the world not to define her by disease. She wanted this to help others. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a tough battle that many can't survive. But there is hope from the darkness. And it's time we fight back together.